Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Mr. Attorney General. Appreciate you coming to the committee. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having the hearing. Here's sort of the other side of the story. When you asked Americans, are we on the right track as a nation, about 70% of them say no. Now, why? I think there's a feeling in this country that we're losing control of our streets, that crime is increasing, and the world is a very dangerous people, and people don't feel safe anymore. You talk about the number of deaths from gun violence, certainly something we should be concerned about. But let me tell you something we all should be concerned about. Rebecca Keisling, a mother, testified yesterday who lost 2 sons to fentanyl overdose. They were buying, I think, a Percocet pill, and it was laced with fentanyl, and they died from taking one pill, both of them. She said, as I quote, "This is a war, act like it, do something." So 106,000 people died from drug overdoses, 70,000 from fentanyl last year, and it's getting worse. The leading cause of death for Americans age 18 to 45 is death by fentanyl poisoning. What are we doing? What is that something? So I hope we'll recommit ourselves, Mr. Chairman, at this hearing to do something, to act like we're at a war, because we are. Foreign terrorist organization designation for the Taliban. That's a good thing. Other groups. How about making drug cartels in Mexico and other places foreign terrorist organizations under U.S. law so we can go deeper and prosecute those who help these people poison America? So the bottom line, we're adrift as a nation. We're not taking the crime problem as seriously as we should. The world is on fire. We say that Putin's engaged in crimes against humanity. I agree with that statement, but we're not giving jets to the Ukrainians to defend themselves against the crime. So we got to up our game. And I hope out of this hearing, we will have a recommitment to convince the American people that we're going to keep you safe, that we're going to have policies to deal with the poisoning of America from fentanyl, that we're going to hold Mexico and other countries accountable, that most of this stuff comes from China, and enough is enough. We're going after those who are killing our kids from fentanyl. Gitmo. This administration let 2 detainees out of Gitmo. There's 30-something left. The recidivism rate is about 25, 30, 40%, depending on who you ask. Now is not the time, after Afghanistan, to be letting people who've been in jail for 20 years because they're so dangerous out of jail. And I hope this administration will not empty Gitmo, because the worst thing we could do right now is let people go who have been involved in terrorist activities, who are still a danger, who are enemy combatants under international law, because of passage of time. So, Mr. Chairman, we all want to work with you on this side, but there is no strategy that I can discern about how to deal with the poisoning of Americans through fentanyl. Most Americans are worried about the rise in crime, and we need to reassure them we get it, that we're going to do better, that Schedule 1 designation for fentanyl expires at the end of the year. Mr. Chairman, I know you don't want that to happen. Senator Cotton's been ahead of this before any of us. So if you put arsenic in a pill, knowing somebody's going to take it, why aren't you charged with murder? You would be charged with murder. If you lace a pill with fentanyl, which is probably more lethal than arsenic, why aren't you charged with murder? We're going to have to deter those who are killing young people in America. We're going to have to put countries on notice that you're with us or you're against us when it comes to this scourge of fentanyl. We're going to have to control our border. We're going to have to come up with a rational immigration policy. We're going to have to change our asylum laws, because everybody in the world believes if they get 1 foot in America, they never leave. On many fronts, law and order has broken down here at home, and the world is in chaos. China is watching what we do in Ukraine, And the question for all of us, are we doing enough to combat the threats that we're all living with? And I would say we're woefully inadequate in dealing with the threats that exist against America at home and abroad, and maybe this committee in a bipartisan fashion can do something about it. Thank you.